Hello there, Rochelle and
Cat.
And today we're going to talk about idioms, about food. The first idiom we have is a baker's dozen. So a baker's dozen, here are my real eggs here, but a dozen is 12, right? And a baker's dozen does not mean 12, it means generally 13. So it would be one more egg in this case, or these are muffins, but this is a muffin tin. Okay. And so this came out of the medieval times when bakers were regulated by the government, and if they didn't give enough, like if they shorted you out of the weight of a loaf of bread, they could get fined. And so what they would do is they'd give you the loaf of bread, but they'd also give you
A cat.
They'd also give you, they might give you the loaf of bread, but they would also give you an extra slice of bread too.
No, they'd give an extra loaf because people are.
Well, sometimes I did some reading, and sometimes they actually gave just one slice of bread. Or sometimes they gave it, like if you ordered 12 loaves, you get 13 loaves. All right, so that is the baker's dozen. Now the next idiom is to put all of one's eggs, and we're not going to use the real eggs because they might break, but all of your eggs in one basket. And what that means is, like, to put all one's eggs in one basket is to really rely just on one specific course or one specific way to do things. So the example would be, when my son was applying to college, I told him not just to apply to one college, but to apply to several, and not to put all his eggs in one basket. All right, so next one is a grain of salt, right? So let's see, salt.
That's multiple grains.
That's multiple grains, but one grain, it's hard to just pick up one grain of salt, right? So to take everything with a grain of salt means to be skeptical about a statement. And so my father, he likes to tell stories, right? And he tells some really good stories. But I usually say say, take all the stories that he tells you with a grain of salt. Because he likes to exaggerate things. Like when he told a story about how he fell out of the car when his mother was driving to the city, and his brothers and sisters were playing school, and his sister said it was time for recess, and he opened the door. That did happen. He did open the door. He did fall out. But he said he had 6 sets of twins or something like that, and that didn't happen.
That was not true.
That was not true. So take everything with a grain of salt. Now, our next idiom is icing on the cake, right? Icing on the cake. And what does that mean? It means bonus, something that makes the situation even better. So the example would be, he would have paid full tuition to go to an Ivy League school. And the Ivy Leagues are very hard colleges to get into, and they're called that because they have ivy. Can you draw some ivy growing on our college in such places? So he would have paid full tuition to go to an Ivy League school. So when he opened his letter and he found out that he got a scholarship, that was the icing on the cake.
Yeah.
All right. So then let's see. To have bigger fish to fry. All right, so here are my fish, right? means bigger fish. These are kind of small, but that's not what it doesn't actually mean to fry fish. What it means is to have more important things to do. So the example would be, I can't help you with your presentation today. I have bigger fish to fry. And let's see, the last one is to have a lot on one's plate, right? And do you want to give an example of that?
Well, a lot on one's plate means that you have a lot of things to do, and it's like being a working mom with children and many activities, I always have a lot on my plate.
Right? It doesn't necessarily mean that you have lots of food on your plate or
it's like,
fish or
this
eggs.
Could be driving your kids to school and back, and this could be making sure they get up on time, and this can be focusing on getting your work done, and this can be getting on Zoom meetings, and this can be your part-time job. There's many other things.
Right, and then this could mean making sure your kids are doing their Zoom classes. So a lot on one's plate, right? So do you have any idioms or sayings that have to do with food? Let us know and type them in the comments below. And
don't forget to subscribe, and hit the notification bell so that way you don't miss any other videos that we post.
all right, thanks for watching.
Bye.
Bye-bye.